And here in the upper right-hand corner of the map, Daybreak, we have our blue Terran player from Team Liquid. It is TaeJa. And his opponent in the lower right-hand, or lower left-hand corner, my apologies, is our red Terran player challenger this week, MarineKing Prime.
AKA Hangul, name that we can't read.
That's true. It probably is actually Ghost King just trolling us.
Yeah, it's Ghost King. It's Beyond. We'll see how many ghosts he build in this first game. If he builds more ghosts than Marines, it's probably Beyond, but we'll assume for now that it's MarineKing. Yeah, so TaeJa top right, MarineKing bottom left. Really no positional advantages, obviously, in this two-player map.
Yeah.
Some players prefer to play top down. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that actually is true. So, but you know, Daybreak is a map that can lend itself to incredibly long TVT sometimes. I remembered one time we were trying to throw in content. This was a few months ago, and it was a game between then the Rain players, Spades and Artists, and we're like, oh, this would be a cool game. It's like an hour long, right? Yeah, that's awesome. We threw it up here, and it was nothing but just like ridiculous positioning for a super long period of time. And what are you up to, SCV? MarineKing is going to be a little bit tricky here. He did go gas first back at home. There's 150 resources, and we do have a proxy barracks.
I was wondering if perhaps it would be a delayed scout, but proxy barracks right there is interesting because obviously TaeJa is going to have a barracks slightly before MKP would be able to even drop one.
That's right.
But they're so close to each other, we can actually watch the progress of each one. Yeah, so TaeJa is going to be able to pop out a Marine before MKP even is able to spawn one and walk all the way over. So
that's right.
I don't think TaeJa is going to have a problem with just one proxy racks.
Well, we'll see. You know, in a couple of months ago, we saw a lot of matches in Team Arena Challenge 2, and even the Tournament of Champions was where it really stood out, where it was kind of the Tournament of Terrans, where we saw just endless amounts of proxy Marauders, sometimes proxy Hellions that go along with that as well. TaeJa's getting a pretty good look at his opponent's base, of course, not finding anything.
Oh, wow.
And indeed, it's a proxy factory right next to that, so MarineKing is up to his old tricks once again.
Proxy factory, well, that means that TaeJa's going to get his orbital command. TaeJa's orbital command is actually done already, right as MKP's is getting started, so he's going to be behind in resources, obviously, not just because of the proxy shenanigans, but because his orbital command is so much slower. And TaeJa is doing a proxy factory in MKP's base. I don't think either player has vision of either player's hidden stuff, so
I don't believe
this could be quite interesting in the first few minutes of this first game.
That's right. So, you know, in a long best of situation, you always want to throw something to throw your opponent off. And MarineKing is, I'm going to go ahead and say, the best player in the world at doing just that, about being able to throw a ton of different looks at you, be completely different from game to game. And indeed, it is going to be proxy reactored Hellions now as this barracks is going to get into his opponent's base.
And he's going to drop the barracks into his opponent's base instead of just flying around and doing some scouting. TaeJa's obviously going to block it there with that first Marine, and his own factory is done now. Probably not going to be slapping an add-on onto that one, just it would take too much time. He doesn't want to risk losing it to any Marines, but now he sees that this barracks is very close to home. He might be able to infer that a factory is on the way soon, but right now 2 Hellions are done for MKP. They're going to be swinging around this destructible debris. It looks like TaeJa doesn't have anything done yet over in MKP's base. Oh, bunker at the front already. He needs to get those inside. There you go. And the Hellion's really not going to be too effective. TaeJa has one completed, but is going to start a second one before doing any kind of assault.
And MarineKing does have his barracks landed inside of his opponent's base. We'll see if that causes TaeJa to bring any units back to deal with it, and it looks like it will, at least for the time being. Second Hellion just about to pop out here. MarineKing has literally nothing back at home to defend against this, so this could actually be very, very quick for TaeJa, but then again, MarineKing is going for a, looks like it's going to be a Hellion drop himself.
Yeah, he's already got that medevac nearly completed. All he has to do is load up 4 Hellions and just run right into that mineral line. The Marines are going to be too slow to be able to react to that. Hellion's getting the best angle of attack here. Obviously, supply depot is blocking potential entries there, and the medevac is going to live. These Marines definitely will not. Nice micro by MKP, picking up that most injured Hellion, but now TaeJa is actually out of troops. He's already getting those SCVs. Whoa, actually he's going to attack all the Hellions with the SCVs. This is always scary as a Terran player, but he is going to get them crowded, but MKP, all he has to do is pick them up. He's going to pick up all 3.
Oh my God, really well done, but back at home at MarineKing's base, he's not doing anything to defend these Hellions either, so he's losing a a ton of economy himself. In fact, we have 16 workers killed for TaeJa, just 2 workers killed for MarineKing, but of course he has disposed of most of his opponent's forces, and the Viking War, is won by TaeJa, at least temporarily. So TaeJa going to lose a lot of workers now. Finally himself. Oh my God, what are we watching?
Why? Why? You could put 4 SCVs in a bunker and live longer. Like, now MarineKing has only 4 SCVs. They're all going to get torched down. And what is the... Can you hit the unit tab real quick? We've got 1 SCV against 3. TaeJa still with 3 SCVs, so definitely not... Wow, I was going to say an advantage, but that's too many Hellions, man. What is he going to do? This is a ridiculous game.
Is he going to be able to DPS down the starport in time before the Viking comes out? I'm not actually sure. And it looks like this Viking's getting repaired up off to the side, and MarineKing hasn't quite found it yet. Both players have lifted off their orbital commands for now.
My God.
How many resources do we have? Oh, only 33 resources for MarineKing. We'll be able to mule, though, a little bit.
I think MKP's got to win this, right? Because he just has the unit advantage so strong there with that many Hellions. Like, if the Vikings ever try to land to kill a landed OC, those Vikings would just rip through it.
Okay, well, that starport is on fire. Structures are coming back now for MarineKing. This is one of the more ridiculous TVTs I've ever seen, I have to say.
Yeah, these Hellion Wars, proxy Hellion Wars at that, are a bit ridiculous. But again, I still like MarineKing's positioning here. He's got that OC, he can bring it up to where TaeJa's main used to be, and maybe drop a mule, but all these Hellions are going to be able to protect so well on the ground against the couple of Vikings that TaeJa still has out.
And supply depot's starting to fall now as MarineKing is able to whittle down these structures. TaeJa's not doing too much himself. No point in bringing up the production tab. I'll just keep the units tab up, as that'll tell us the best answer here. So 2 Vikings, which are actually landed quite good against Hellions, but I believe that they're pretty injured. Let me see here. No, he did repair them up with the SCV.
I still just strengthen numbers. 9 Hellions would be able to get those Vikings down before they were able to kill any buildings or anything like that. And they're finishing off supply depots and things like that right now. That's all of TaeJa's army, aside from 4 Hellions that I guess are trying to do I don't know what at the Zelnaga Tower, not trying to finish off these buildings evidently.
All right, so these refineries are going to go down here in a second. MarineKing is established another base.
3 mules, wow. Nice.
You're just joining us. TaeJa didn't spawn there. This is Daybreak. It's a 2-player map, and MarineKing will be able to start adding on a few SCVs here in a second. Indeed, he is, but brings the landed Vikings over, but they have to jump up because the Hellions react just too quickly.
Oh, that's going to be, MarineKing can start making Marines now. TaeJa can't do anything. This is just a matter of time. It's kind of a choke out by MarineKing. He's just sitting on him, like, pulling his arm slightly, like, I can break your arm, TaeJa. I'm going to do it.
Waiting for him to tap out
I'm
now.
going to do it. You might as well tap. And then soon he'll be able to break his arm and just win the game.
He kind of has, if you think about it. So, MarineKing hasn't found his opponent yet, but he will pretty quickly.
His base is under attack, though, so he might be scared.
Unfortunately, yes. 1 Hellion.
Oh, wow, he's actually walled off.
Yep, TaeJa walled off with a factory and his barracks, and he's mining back off to the right-hand side.
Oh, wow.
So.
Oh, what is happening?
This is a little crazy. And these supply depots are going to go down. MarineKing did establish enough economy, though, that he is going to be able to start reproducing those back at home. Yeah, there we go. So he's not going to be in too bad of a position. All MarineKing has to do is find this mining spot, and he's good to go. Yeah,
build some Marines. He's getting one out at a time now. He's going to lose these depots. He's actually supply blocked because he had so many Hellions remaining alive. So now these are going to take absolutely forever to actually kill the OC. So yeah, he's got to go for the workers. They've got no way to escape.
That's right.
And that's all the workers of TaeJa. Wow, he's only down to 2 SCVs now. I don't even know where they're at. They're kind of scattered.
There's one.
Those were the ones that were repairing earlier, yeah. And so TaeJa can't kill MarineKing for the same reason MarineKing can't kill TaeJa. It's just Hellions don't kill buildings that fast. So there's no real ground threat.
But the problem is that MarineKing's forces are pretty overwhelming at this point. I mean, if he can even force an engagement once, then he's going to be good to go. So, looks like this. Hey, that barrack's still hanging around.
It's a reactor. He floated it back over to make use of that reactor. Good decision, actually.
All right, so back on TaeJa's side, he's starting to produce 1 Marine, 1 Hellion at a time. Doesn't look like he wants to give up quite yet, but he's found out once again. no mining going to happen there.
And KP honestly just needs to kill those remaining depots in TaeJa's base so that he can't build one Marine and one Hellion at a time. Like there's one on the ground there. He's got 35 supply available to him, but he's not going to be able to get up that high. Oh, here's the actual encounter that we were waiting on, and the Viking not going to be able to clean up. TaeJa GG's out of there.